Hi, I am a big fan of Joe from Blue's Clues. I think that Joe really helped Blue's Clues continue being great after Steve left. Steve leaving could have ruined Blue's Clues forever. But I don't think that's what happened. I think that Joe helped saved it from being ruined. Joe, I think, is incredibly underrated. I feel like Joe doesn't get enough attention and respect. Joe is pretty fantastic. Uh, I love Joe's jokey attitude, and I feel like he and Blue are so much fun together, and there's so many great Joe episodes, and Joe really helped Blue's Room so much. I feel like Blue's Room wouldn't have been nearly as good without him being in the second season. I think that the first season, where I think he only appears briefly, I feel like that's the closest I think that Blues has gotten to being a little bit slow, even though I still like it. And I love it when Joe is in a Blues Clues and You episode. And as characters, I think that Joe is in the middle for me, between Steve and Josh. So I figured I wanted to have him just slightly higher than Josh, but not as high as Steve. And I feel like I have a lot of similar feelings about Joe and Josh, so I did put them next to each other. Um, and I think that makes sense. I think that they both deserve to be in the top 40. I do think that Joe's episodes tend to be more interesting than Josh's episodes, because a lot of Josh's episodes I think are remakes of Steve episodes. So I think there was more interesting stuff done with Joe. So I think that helps Joe feel like a little bit more of an interesting character. Because that's part of me thinks that maybe Joe should have been a few uh, places ahead of Josh rather than being so close to him. But regardless, Josh, Joe, and Steve are all fantastic, and I definitely like having all of them in my top 40. And I think that Joe has been so helpful because I think that the last two seasons of Blues Clues, and as well as Blues Room, and a lot of episodes of Blues Clues and You wouldn't have been that great without him really adding so much. And so, even though Steve's always been my favorite, I think that Joe is really underrated, and I do think that there are good Blues Clues episodes that don't have Steve, which feels a little bit weird saying because of a lot of what makes Blues Clues so great is Steve. But Joe is amazing, and I love him.